Tome?
Hello!
Hey bro, what you doing?
Oh, I was thinking about starting up business in Vietnam. Everyone's saying it's like going to be the next China, so I thought I would grab the opportunity while I can.
You want to start business in my house? Come, I teach you what to do, big boy. But I tell you serious, Vietnam cannot be next China.
What? Why?
Come, I teach you.
Welcome to History 101. Vietnam is a predominantly agricultural civilization based on wet rice cultivation. But the Vietnam War destroyed much of the country's economy, which set back Vietnam a lot. The government implemented a planned economy, collectivization of farms, factories, economic capital, and a whole lot more that you don't need to know about.
There were many post-war problems: inefficiency, corruption in state programs, poor quality and underproduction, and restrictions on economic activities, and the erosion of the Soviet Union, which was Vietnam's main trading partners. 1 million hectares of forest and crops were destroyed in 1969.
Agent Orange left its mark on Vietnam by damaging Phi Thai, causing many physical deformities and premature death of infants.
Lucky alive, you know.
It destroyed much of the required and essential infrastructure for the recovery of Vietnamese economy and had to build everything back by scratch, resulting in a large amount of resources that could have been used in other ways, like healthcare and education.
Then how did they fix it? I mean, I would have given up already.
Collectivization was done, but it wasn't very effective. Trade policies were hard to implement due to trade embargoes, and the government was really bad. Everything was so chaotic, and they were also corrupt, so not many policies worked. You take econs?
Of course.
Then I tell the people the what you call macro effect, with a decrease in X&M due to the trade embargo, G due to the lack of government spending on the infrastructure of Vietnam, reduction in C due to lack of consumers to buy and products to sell, and reduction in I due to chaos within the country, the entire AZ curve shifts leftwards, resulting in a massive shrink in the economy and posing many problems to the Vietnamese economy at that time. This shrinkage has a large impact on the country, even though it has such been a long time since the war had ended, as the country had to spend so much of its resources building back its basic infrastructure while other countries continued to develop, putting it behind.
Okay, but how about now? Even if it's slower than China, it should have some improvement, right?
Let's see. China relied on agriculture 17 years ago. Vietnam is still relying on it now. 12% of Vietnamese population live in cities and economic progress is slow. China had that percentage 11 years ago. Vietnam's national demand has long exceeded its supply, resulting in a chronic current account deficit that reached 5.4% GDP. China hasn't reached that deficit in 17 years. China has not suffered Vietnamese-style inflation since 1995. Vietnam is rather lacking factors of production, especially land and labor, which results in the economy being rather weak in comparison to that of China's. Since it is already lagging behind China, as much as Vietnam can grow, it will always be behind China in terms of its economy. To fix it, the government utilized many policies. Tightening monetary and financial policies is considered the most effective one. The government has introduced a tight monetary policy and increased deposit interest rates to attract depositors. Higher interest rates were considered if the situation were to get worse. They cut down total budget spending for the state by 20 to 30%. This curbs inflation through a contractionary fiscal policy. The policy focuses on keeping down the trade deficit rather than having an open economic policy to its neighbors. This is suitable for a developing country like Vietnam and brings easier control of the rate of growth due to restriction of government spending. This increases demand of money, decreases interest rates, and finally generates increased investments. This has a positive effect in Vietnamese domestic investment instead of foreign investment due to low interest rates. This is a way to help Vietnam control its own inflation by refusing imported and exported inflation and strictly keeping it domestic. Other policies include restructuring of the economy to achieve higher productivity and competitiveness, and applying advanced technology to improve product quality and competitiveness.
So, Vietnam isn't going to be the next China.
It looks anything like China to you?